Ow! Now I got a thorn stuck in my finger. Welcome back to another episode of My Legacy Garage. Today, we are going to go drag some junk out of the woods, and I do mean junk. If I didn't buy it, it was heading straight for the scrapyard. The problem with that is we need to use the tractor because it's in there. So, I guess that means it's time to load up. It's a brisk 34 degrees today with a fairly steady wind. It's a little chilly. Not really used to this cold weather. I like my heated shop, but I guess you got to do what you got to do. Of course, up there in the background, I'm sure you can see the propane bobtail sitting up there in case I have to go to work too, because there's that. It's winter time. I also didn't winterize anything here yet. I should probably do that. Well, let's go get junk first, and then we'll worry about the, non-important things like making sure water lines don't freeze. That's minor. Anyway, let's get to it. Of course, the first hurdle early this morning is getting the old tractor started. She is not a fan of cold weather. I mean, not many diesels are, really. Speaking of which, what we're getting, it's a diesel. I don't know anything about it. That's it. Let's go unearth a couple of 1981 VW Rabbits. What do you say? We are in an undisclosed location in Delaware. It's just it's a treasure trove. I'm gonna tell you what, I have never seen a property quite like this before, but it is just chock full of pretty much anything you can think of, including, you guessed it, there's a VW Rabbit there and another one hiding back behind it.
This was apparently used as a farm vehicle. Not quite sure how that works with a compact car, but that's what it says. Nobody knows how long it's been since it ran, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's been a while. And then same thing with this one over here. This one is the diesel with a manual. The two-door is an automatic. The two-door has a good title. This one does not. But it's a parts car. It's pretty rough. She's mighty crusty. The two-door, on the other hand, it's pretty solid. So I guess the next thing we have to figure out is how we're going to get these things out of here, out through all this mess, and way over there you can just see the back of the tractor that's on the trailer there. Before anybody asks, yes, I saw the Chevy. Yes, I tried to buy it. No, I was not successful. That Rabbit right there doesn't have an engine or a transmission in it. Somebody else is buying that. I didn't really want it anyway. That's too new. And way back there in the back is an old Oldsmobile. I might go take a look at that one, but let's be honest, this is enough of a challenge for today.
They're here. Why do I do this? What have I done? I don't know anything about these cars. The guy I bought them from, he didn't know anything about them. It belonged to his father-in-law, who recently passed away, and as you can tell from the property, there's a lot of cars and other treasures there. And all he knows for sure is that he found the keys to them and the title to one of them, and a bill of sale for the other one, where his father-in-law had bought it for parts. This one, it's got farm tags on it from who knows how long ago, so chances are it probably at least ran at some point. I think we're going to start there and start digging into it and see if we can find anything useful.
The first thing that I noticed about this car is that it's not as solid as I thought it was. Case in point, it's got a hole rusted through it right there. It's got one starting up there. There's another one right there. And then of course, there's stuff like that along this whole back edge of the back glass. Bottom edge of this hatch is all rotted out. It's got issues. Not only that, but I mean, it's tiny. Let's dig around inside of it and see what we can find in there. I'm a little bit concerned about what might be in this thing. There's probably animals living in it. I cannot adequately describe the smell coming from this car. It is what I would call a cross between mildew and straight poop. That's what I'm going to go with as a description. That sounds pretty accurate. I guess let's pop the hood and look at the engine, and maybe we'll put some power to it and see if anything turns on. That's probably a good place to start. That's a pretty crusty engine bay. I have no idea if this engine is free or stuck or just junk. I don't know. I see a lot of makeshift wiring. Looks like, I mean, call me crazy, but that doesn't look stock. I guess we should check the oil. Let's figure out where that's at. Let's see if there's any even still in it. And then maybe we can go about putting a battery in it. I see a dipstick here. Well, it's got oil in it. I'm gonna say that's good. Sure. I suspect that this battery is way overkill for this thing, but you know, we're gonna use it anyway. See if we get sparkage. Nope, no sparks. Let's see if anything works. Nope. Oh no, that's not true. I've got one marker light sort of kind of on. Let's do a little investigating and see if we can figure out where these wires go, and then we'll revisit this issue. So we've got this extra wire right here, and I couldn't figure out what it was for because it doesn't look like it goes on the battery terminal or anything. And I was like, well, let's go inside and see what turns on. Let's do that. Now we're in the car. We're going to turn the key on, and stuff comes on. But you turn it, nothing happens. I'm like, huh, that's weird. Not even a click. Well, turns out that wire, it's pretty important. Luckily, we've got two of these things. Now, I had to use some screwdrivers to get into the hood because the door doesn't open. And I actually didn't look in here before I bought it. Which is probably good because I might have changed my mind. This one is missing the fan shroud and all that stuff. But what it does have is this wire right here connected to the starter, which doesn't exist on the other car. There is no starter. So that's why it doesn't spinny. So I think the next step is going to be abandon that car and fool with this car and see if we get anywhere with it. Or maybe we'll just take the starter off of this one. I don't know. But I guess since the starter's on this one, we should fiddle with this one first and then switch it over. Alright, you convinced me. Let's do that. This one definitely says Volkswagen. Fuel injection. All that fun stuff. This front door, it doesn't open, but this one, it does. This one, she's pretty rotten. Minor technicalities here. But an important thing to note is what it says up here.
It says unleaded. I thought this one was a diesel too, because of the, you know, fuel injection thing back there, but it's not. It's gasoline. That's definitely a distributor with spark plug wires and, you know, spark plugs.
That's definitely a gas engine. I wonder if a diesel starter will fit on a gas engine. Time for some research.
This car is, it's a lot crispier, actually. I gotta figure out how to make all this stuff reach where I need it to. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. This battery, it's a lot bigger. We got a positive on there. Negative is a little bit more challenging. There just isn't enough wire. You know, Chevys, they'll give you 6.5 feet of wire. You can put the battery outside the car if you want to. Volkswagens, they're like, here's your 3 inches. That's all you get. Good luck. Guess we could use a jumper cable or something maybe. I don't know. It seems like I should be able to get more out of this than this. Let's see if I can trace where that wire goes and see if maybe it's just caught on something and I can squeak a little more out of it or what. What's this? That's weird looking. I'm gonna put that over here. Body ground there was crimped and it broke off. Well, most of the way off. I finished helping it the rest of the way off, but now the battery cable reaches. I guess let's go see if anything powers up. I rearranged some junk in here so that I could actually like kind of get in this back seat. I'm not sure what all was living in here. Apparently there was wasps at one point. All right, let's see. There does appear to be some dim lights on the dash. Let's see. That kind of works. Oh, it's doing something over there. Oh, that makes lots of noise. Oh. Alright, well, it does something. What about this? Whoa. That's pretty cool. Never seen that happen before. Let's turn that off. Alright, well, I guess let's see if it cranks. Ready? Nothing. Of course, it probably has... This is a stick shift, so it probably has a clutch pedal sensor. You probably got to push the clutch in. How are we going to do that? Let's give that some thought. We'll be back. Look, there's no way I'm going to work on this with Volkswagen outside. It's been a couple of weeks since I even fiddled around with it, and I couldn't drum up the motivation to lay on the ground and look underneath of it and figure out where the starter even goes, what I need, all that kind of stuff. So got an empty bay here where the Jeep was. Moved all the 55 stuff kind of just off to the sides because, you know, the Volkswagens, it's little. So I'm going to jam it in here so that we can look at it. Why am I working on this one and not the cool 2-door diesel? And the short answer to that is I tried to get the diesel in here and the wheels are locked up and it was kind of wet outside. The tractor was just slipping and sliding. It was a mess.
This is a mess.
But for now, suffice it to say, I needed the trailer to go get the trucks for the video that's already been released. And I had to take this one off and I was like, well, it rolls. Let's just shove it in the garage and we'll work on that one. It's literally that simple.
We've already kind of taken a tour of these, so I'm going to keep this brief. What I will say is I made poor AJ climb in here through this back door and then reach up here and roll this window down so that I could, you know, reach in here and touch stuff. But the door, yeah, it doesn't open at all. I'm not sure what we're doing about that just yet, but at least we can reach in here now and turn the key and stuff. That's a step in the right direction, I'd say.
Ugh, gross.
Yep, it is still just as magnificently gross as I remember. Also, as I recall, we did put a battery in it and try and crank it and nothing happened. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's got a neutral safety switch. So I guess we're going to have to start with that and see where we get with it, because I'm not really sure what we can do with it if we can't get the engine to turn over, right? I guess we could put it in gear and drag it behind the tractor maybe, but that seems like a lot of extra work. Let's just at least look at the neutral safety switch first. And I really hope it's not up under the dash where I can't get to it because the door won't open. Oh, that'll suck.
Step one, battery. There we go, perfect. And it doesn't crank.
Should we try pushing the clutch in?
Let's try a broom handle. And some light. Oh, that was stiff. All right, now let's try it. Nothing. I was poking around in the engine bay here because I really don't want to try and hang inside of that door and work underneath the dash. That doesn't seem fun to me. So I was like, maybe we'll just jump the starter out with my little Gizmo license plate thingy that I got. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out in some of the older videos. Maybe the 55, I think, is the last time it was used. Anyway, I was like, I'll just use that. Well, when I went looking for the signal wire for the starter, let me show you what I found. There's obviously pieces missing, radiator, etc. So somebody was taking parts off of this car. And I saw we've got this main wire here, and then this wire right here, which sure looks like it should go right there. So let's see what happens if we hook this back up. Let's try it. And key. Oh! Hey, guess what? It turns over. Doesn't sound real healthy, but maybe we should clean all this crap off of here and pull these plugs and spray a little lube down in there and see if that doesn't help, because she sounded a wee bit tight. Oh, that's gross. Oh, that's the oil plug cap. Okay. I'm not sure what that's for, but apparently they considered it important since it was left with the car. What's it look like inside of there? Not bad. There's a little bit of rust in there, but at least that thing kept the dirt out of it. What do we got to do to get spark plugs out of here? Ow, these have thorns. What is up with that? Why does everything want to hurt you? That over there so we don't forget where they go, because that would be bad. Let's pull some spark plugs. I reckon the first thing we need to do is blow some of this dust and crap out of here. Now let's pop some plugs out. Also need to figure out the fuel system. Well, I guess first let's see if we can get the spark plugs working. That's probably a good idea. Oh, they're not really that tight. I wonder if somebody else was already trying this. There's definitely some rust in there. That one's pretty cruddy and has some rust on it too. Oh yeah, that one's snug. Woo! That one's definitely got some rust on it. All right, let's lube these guys all up good. We're gonna give that a moment to soak in good, and then we're gonna spin her over and see what happens. That's been soaking for a few minutes. Let's spin her over and see what comes out of it. That sounded a lot better. We got to clean these plugs up though. So we'll clean them up, then we're going to check for spark. I guess this has points. I don't know. Probably, right? It's like an 82, 1, 83. I don't know. Early 80s. Probably still has points. I don't see a coil. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's one back there. Oh, there it is. Way back there. Why do they put it so far from the distributor and make it hard to find? I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure that out as soon as we clean these plugs up. So let's get that accomplished. That looks a lot better, huh? Let's do that 3 more times and see if we got spark. Time to do a spark test and see if this thing's gonna fight or if it wants to live. Anybody have any guesses? Let me know if you see spark, because I can't see anything from here. What's the verdict? Did it spark? Guess I'm gonna have to go check the instant replay, huh? There's spark! What's the catch? It's never this easy. Let's put the plugs in it, pop the intake off, squirt something flammable in there, see what it does. Next step in Volkswagen Resurrection is getting this air boot off of here so that we can spray stuff into the intake. That's really corroded. I don't have a lot of high hopes for that coming apart. Yeah, it's about what I expected to happen. How about this one? It's also a no. Let's try some more of this stuff. Yeah, big screwdriver. Correction, small screwdriver. Holy crap, I broke my screwdriver. Maybe we do need a slightly bigger one. Overkill? Probably. All right, new plan. We're just gonna take it off. I win. All right, let's find something flammable to stick in there. Let's see what it does. Runs all right back out, that's what it does. Throttle is completely seized. All right, let's lube that up. We've made some progress. We got the primary here open a hair, so that'll be good enough for a proof of concept test anyway. Let's see what it does. No way. I don't think it's supposed to do that. Well, that's slight progress anyway. I decided that before I poked around with this too much more, I wanted to disconnect fuel so we didn't pull anything from that nasty tank, which is when I discovered this. Snapple. Nice glass bottle. I think we can clean this up and do the same concept, right? Looks like this isn't the first time somebody's had this thing running without everything in place. Let's see what happens if we can get some fuel to it. I've got some real heavy in the oil two-stroke gas in this little jug here. We're gonna see if we can't get this thing to suck some of that up in there and run on that. Here we go. Sounded like a fire. Is there fire anywhere? There is fire. I think we've got it out. All right, let's try and figure out where the fire came from before we keep cranking on it. Well, I couldn't see any issues, so we're gonna go ahead and crank her some more and see what happens. Not much, that's what happens. I guess maybe we could try a little more brake cleaner in the intake there and see if we get it over with that. Not quite so much this time, huh? Contact! It wants to run, doesn't it? It wants to, it just can't quite get there. Got fuel line in this gas. Doesn't look like it's really sucking any up, which if I'm being honest doesn't surprise me too much. It's probably all plugged and the fuel pump doesn't work and all that fun stuff. Where do we go from here? We try it again, that's what we do. Contact! Come on, baby, come on. Again. Is it just out of fuel? Is that what we think is going on? All right, we'll try giving it just a little bit more. And if this doesn't work, we're gonna have to figure out a different answer. Here we go. I think half the problem is our battery is getting a wee bit weak. Maybe we should try putting a charger on it for a little bit and then revisit this. It seems like a plausible plan, at least. What is that? Uh-oh. I see a problem, folks. Come with me. You guys can't quite see it from this vantage point, but from where I'm looking, I can see a black puddle down through there. Yeah.
Well, that's probably pretty bad. That's a lot of oil. Like a lot. Holy cow. Let me grab a light so you can really see this. It's hard to see down through here, but that is a big puddle of oil. Guess we're going to need to be doing some investigating and figuring out where all that came from and why it's on my floor instead of in the car. See a little bit right there. It must be coming from near the front. Well, folks, I have located the source of our oil leak. We've got this lovely oil filter right here. And on the back side of it, it is all oily because it's rusted through. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about this car? Because I also made another discovery. It's apparently fuel injected, which I didn't know. Some type of a primitive kind of fuel injection, to be sure, but fuel injected nonetheless. And you can kind of see there's a fuel injection line right there, and then there's two other ones, and then right here I would have thought there would be another one, but instead what there is like a hole. Can you see that hole right there? It's really hard to see in here. See the hole? I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a fuel injector in there. I don't have any idea where the line is or anything. To be honest, this is just a parts car. There isn't even a title for it. It's a 4-door. It's rusted out like nobody's business. I mean, you all watched the video before this and saw where we pulled them out of the woods and everything. This thing's a lost cause, I think. Even if we fix that oil filter and refill it with oil, it still wasn't actually running. I think we probably could get it to run if we really, really wanted to. And we replaced that injector, and probably the rest of them probably are junked up too. And probably fuel lines and fuel pump and all that. We could probably get it to run. However, the gas engine isn't really the one I'm interested in. I'm interested in the diesel engine. I would like to make that one run because I've never messed with diesel before. I mean, not really. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? That's the question, isn't it? So where does this leave us? With a piece of junk. That's what it is. It is what it is, I guess. I don't really know anything about Volkswagens. I got the other one mostly because it has a title and it's a diesel, and I know those are pretty popular, and I wanted to mess with it. It's not in that bad a shape. This one is in terrible shape, and it's gas. I guess somebody would find it useful, but me personally, not really. That being said, its destination was the crusher if I didn't buy it. It was saved from the crusher at least. Somebody else can enjoy it, use it, have some fun with it, use it for parts, whatever. The important part is, now when I go to sell it, I can advertise it correctly. Almost runs, has an oil leak out of the oil filter. It's a good description. Really, it's going to go with the other B-dub when I sell it. I'm not overly concerned with it. Sort of like a little deja vu with the midgets a little bit. Have you seen those? You should go check that video out. That was fun. I'm not going to go through all the trouble of, pronouncing this one dead and covering it with the tarp and everything. I'm just going to drag it outside and take it back to death row. And then I guess we need to try a little harder to get the diesel one in here. Well, I think that's going to about do it for this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel out. Lets people know, hey, this is a video worth watching. And if you didn't like it, well, hit that dislike button twice. Really let us know. And if you really, really liked it, well, go hit the subscribe button. That's also free. Doesn't cost anything, and Lord knows free things in this economy is rare to come by. We appreciate it. It helps the channel, and it makes us able to continue bringing you stuff like this.
couldn't resist trying it one more time, right? And it's really pushing a lot of oil out there. It's got good oil pressure, and I'd say it ran, you know, close enough anyway. It runs. Time to get it out of here and move on to the next one. I'm a little bit sad that we couldn't get it going. I really wanted to try, but the injectors, I'm sure the injectors are all plugged up. That's a lot of work to try and get this thing going, and it's just not worth it. To me anyway. Somebody that has one of these that's in nice shape and needs an engine, they might feel a little differently about it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.